Good morning, everybody. Welcome to episode 25 of Exploring Economic Development with MEDC. Episode 25. This is really exciting. Can't believe we're here.
It's kind of a big deal.
It's a really big deal.
Over a year now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A quarter of 100 episodes we've been doing this.
It's one way to look at it. And Lindsay, I've got to say, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, hi, how are you? Nice to see you. Lindsay has been stepping in wonderfully for Meredith as she's on her maternity leave. So can we just give it, give it a little round.
I'll feel it.
Lindsay loves the attention.
Yeah,
no, she's doing a great job, though.
Wait till you see our guest. Also equally loves the attention. All right. So in all seriousness, we're so happy to be here today. Last episode, if you didn't catch it, or if you just want to be reminded how wonderful it was, episode 24, we were Steve Uliss of Firefly's Barbecue, a member on our board of directors, a great business partner for the City of Marlborough. So that was a dynamic conversation about hospitality in Marlborough. Starting a business, lots of great information if you're interested in starting a business. So we were happy to have him there and talk about that and all the great things coming up at Fireflies. Mm-hmm. And then this episode, we'll be going over to it soon, but we've got Chuck Thebado, Director of the Recreation Department, and we're happy to get into all that Marlborough's Parks and Recreation is going to offer for this season and throughout the year and all the work they got going on over there.
Absolutely.
Before we get there, though, Jill,
let's go over some logistics. So we are streaming right now to Facebook and to YouTube. So if you're catching us live, you can comment, and then we'll be able to see your comments like we have a few here. Meredith is joining us. Thank you, Meredith, for being here. We miss you. We hope you're doing good. So you can just comment, and we'll be able to integrate that into the show. Also, this is going to be airing on our local cable access channel, WMCT TV, here in Marlborough. So you can see our email and our phone number is right down below. You can reach out to us if you have any questions or comments, or if you have ideas for future episodes, just let us know. We're always looking to see, what residents, what businesses, and, what people are interested in. And we love talking about Marlborough because we bleed orange here at the MEDC.
Panthers.
Panthers eat hawk meat. I think is what it is what I know.
So
sorry. I just needed to say Meredith says that she hopes she gets her seat back.
Oh, yes.
Lindsay
it's waiting for you. Don't you worry about that, Mary. It's going to be all yours come August. Okay, so I'm really happy to have Chuck here. And all joking aside, Chuck has been a great mentor to me. I had the benefit of working for the Recreation Department for the couple of summers after college, which was a great experience. We go back to communicating through the rec department through Nextels. So if anybody can remember Nextels, we'd be chirping from the different fields and pools and beaches and making sure summer camp was
like the walkie-talkie mode.
Yeah.
I never got to have one of those.
Yeah,
I was always jealous.
Cool. Yeah, me either, except for while I was working at the rec department.
Perks.
Going back a few days.
Yes. It seems like only a few days,
yeah,
but now
it's amazing how things go by so quickly.
Sowed our seeds, yeah. So I'm so happy to be able to do this with you today and talk about all the wonderful work that you have and continue to do for Marlborough.
I'm glad to be here. I know that we had a hiccup at the beginning of the spring. I wasn't able to make that date, so I'm glad I was able to get in here before all the summer starts and all the craziness happens.
Yeah,
I
think this is perfect timing.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. I agree.
Tell us about Chuck Thebado and the Marlborough Recreation Department.
Jeez, I don't know. That'd take all of 30 seconds. I grew up here in Marlborough. I think one of the reasons why I came back is to give something back to the community that gave something to me. I think, Lindsay, you know my story. I lived up the street right from the Boys and Girls Club, and I think that's the place what instilled in me as far as giving back. When we went to the Boys and Girls Club, there was leadership groups. There was a Torch Club and Keystone Club, and it teaches you about volunteering and not only just helping yourself out, but helping others out. And I think, went to college. I have a business degree and a philosophy degree, and you would think that working in recreation would be the last place I would end up. But when I got out of school, my first job was working at the Boys and Girls Club. And I think it was just important to me to, find the roots that when I was growing up here, it just meant so much to me. And to be working with kids and doing those type of things. So from there, I actually spent a few years working for the state, for Department of Social Services, DSS, for a few years. And then I did consulting work. So I went back on my business degree, and I worked out in Somerville for like 3 years designing their recreation programs in their parks and doing that. Then I got a phone call from David Grasso asking me if I'd be interested in coming back to Marlborough. And it was definitely a step back as far as money-wise. But I came back because I think it was important that, a city that gave so much to me, and if I had that opportunity to play a small role and helping the community out, I thought it'd be, a big thing for me. And I think anybody that's going through, like I say to my staff, and not going on another tangent here, but I say my kids, my staff, when they're going to college, they always ask, a little advice sometimes. And I always say, just find something you enjoy to do. And I'm very fortunate. I've been here for over 20 years, and not saying every day is a dream, but I really like what I do. So I don't get up in the morning and dread going to work. So that's a good thing. So if you can find that, all the other stuff will work itself out. At least that's the way I feel about life. And so having that instilled in me as far as what the Boys and Girls Club did for me, and as far as what the city has done for me, and if I can come back here and play whatever small role I play in having kids of all ages, adults of all ages, to partake in what the city's able to offer and how much we've grown since I've been here, it means a lot. So it's nice to have something, you have a job that you can look back on and say, you're not collecting a paycheck, you're actually contributing. So whatever small way and whatever small part I do play in this, city, I think it's great. So that's pretty much it. I don't know if there's anything else you need to talk, but there's any questions about, so.
Yeah, well, it's so important, and I think it's important to talk about right now, too, because we keep hearing in the workforce the challenges of staffing, but also that people are looking to be connected to the work they do, right? They want it to align with their passions.
Yeah.
And I think there's so many opportunities, especially within a municipality and one like Marlborough, where you don't necessarily have to go to college, and you don't necessarily have to get the proper training. People go into roles in the city right out of high school all the time.
Yeah, sure.
And they do really well, and they retire before most of us that didn't will, right? And they have that sense of giving back to the community, and they have the ability to be invested in what they're doing because it's where they're living and they're working and they're playing. And we say that all the time, but to actually be able to do that and know that those opportunities are there, I think are huge. And to be able to enter it through the rec department, I mean, that was my first, other than playing sports and going to school and being a kid in Marlborough, that was one of my first professional experiences here. And to have mentors.
Well, I'm sorry for that.
Yeah, right. To have mentors like Chuck and Dave Grasso, who was the director at the time there, and being a club kid myself from the boys club, and knowing that these families are so invested in this community, and it's so generational here in Marlborough that it's really unique and it's really special. I think even when you two saw each other again today, on your city jobs, you had a connection, but then it's like, oh, actually, we were at the same wedding that only 15 people were at, right? And you're a close friend. And I think that's also really cool, is that a lot of your friends that you grew up with are back in these public serving roles, right? They're principals, they're police officers, they're postmen.
Exactly. And
the people you grew up with and these club kids, they really do stay in the community. Yeah. And so if people are looking for opportunities, we didn't plan this, but to be able to reach out and help those kids and the Boys and Girls Club and what other programs for mentoring are there. There's even the Maisie tutoring program. It goes a long way, and it means a lot to a lot of people and sticks with you.
Well, I think it's like, even like I was saying about having the staff, and I'm having kids coming in at age 16. We hire them at 16. Yeah. We're hoping I get them all the way through college, and then 2 years of grad school. So I'm hoping I hold on for 8 years. And I've had Rick Carter has been running our Project Summer Adventure for over 20 years. He's a teacher out in Worcester. Has played a huge role in our summer camp programming. But I even say with my staff, just talking to them, and when I say to my staff, I go, when you take a job working in the Recreation Department, I think what I want them to think sometimes is maybe when you're a lifeguard at a pool, or if you're a camp counselor, or whatever activity you're doing, even if you're in the parking lot, at the beach, or you're watching over one of the splash pads, or helping us, clean the pools, whatever the job you're doing for the community or for the recreation department. I always try to tell them, maybe that child that's visiting the pool that day, or the beach, or going to camp, that might be the best week of their life, or the best day of their life, or the best afternoon of the summer. Maybe not their life, but I think I wanted them to think along those lines. It's not only a job, but trying to instill some of the stuff I had instilled in me and pass it on to them to say, think about, others, not only just yourself. And I have a great line. I got it from my brother Ernie. When I say to some kids sometimes, I know your problem is you don't get it. And they don't know what that means. Get it means you'll get it when you get it. And basically what it means is that when you start, taking a step back and looking about and caring about others before yourself, and having that, whatever, times I had those speeches with the kids, I'm hoping they're listening. I say my kids, my staff. Yeah. And I think, they are. And I'm really hoping that they take a little piece of me when they do leave, whatever it is. And maybe that's some small words of advice. But I think if a community has the ability to take on the staffing as far as giving jobs to these kids, what I want to do is when they leave, and make them better people, not just better employees, but better people. And I think that plays about it. It's right. Teaching them just showing up on time, doing their job, little things like that go a long way. Yeah. And sometimes maybe the schools are at home, they're not getting that, and I'll just try to them like, hey, if I can steer them in the right direction or help them along those lines, I think that's pretty cool.
And that work can be fun. Yeah. I mean, the rec jobs are the best jobs.
Well, it is fun.
Are you listening, MHS grads? Come
Go
work with
get
us.
a rec department job.
Well, it's like I always say to my staff, I go, hey, it's not like we're saving lives unless you're at the pools on the beach. Yeah. I'm just kidding. So, but I try to incorporate that with the staff also, to try to create an atmosphere where it's fun. We create an atmosphere where we all work together. I think that it's important that the staff sees me at all facets of their jobs, and I do the same thing. I'm cleaning out toilets, I'm cleaning things up. They see me everywhere. So I think when the staff sees like, hey, Chuck cares, and I think they take it from that. And I've been very fortunate over the years I've been here that we've had minimal issues with staffing as far as the kids that have come out for jobs. I mean, any success that this department has had or what we do, I pass it on to the seasonal staff is fantastic. I have some over the years, some really strong individuals that help me, make us a success. My head guards or, camp staff and those type of things. Yeah. It's not like taking the credit. It's just that anything that we have and anyone that says, hey, this is a great program, or, you guys run a really great beach or a pool, or whatever the case may be. I hope that I, teaching them how to do that, but then it's like we have some strong kids. So I've been very fortunate. Our department's been very fortunate. So I've met some great kids over the years. It's just fantastic. So that's another part of it too.
And your department's unique because there's only 3 of you that are full time.
Yeah.
Right? And then you're a city department, but you also have a board of directors.
Yeah.
Which is
a commission.
Is really cool. Some of the people on that board. I mean, Bob Kay's most
Melinda
philanthropic
Gallagher.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Melinda Gallagher running a business. Lost Shoe saying every decision we make is based on what's best for the community. So there's all these other influences, but there's 3 of you in there doing the day to day throughout the year.
It can be daunting sometimes. It can be daunting sometimes, and I think that if you, like I said earlier, if you're coming with that attitude and you try to, make the best of every situation, and as any job, not everything's going to go your way. And I think when again, not to keep talking about my staff, but the story I use with them, I go, hey, listen, we're all on this boat. We're trying to get across the river here. I'm in the boat with you. Let's all get in the boat. I think I'd like to be in this nicer boat, but we can't have that boat. We're in this boat. Let's just get across. And I think they get the, because there's sometimes when decisions are made or there's parameters where I like to expand, or we could do things a little bit easier, or more staffing or whatever. But sometimes that doesn't come into play. And I think when you said that message and you hear your employees telling you this and you say, hey, listen, I'm hearing what you're saying, but this is where we're at. And I think they're okay, as long as he's hearing me. I think, we pull them in together. And I think, because, everything could be better, or, obviously funding or those other issues that come across that doesn't allow you to, to give those things that the kids may want or the staff may need, or not need, but want to make it a little easier. But But if you like I said, if you get that story about we're all on the boat together, I think they like that, as far as like, hey, he cares. And I think if you exude that, it'll come back. I
think we're going to be able to collect a lot of Chuck-isms.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah, Chuck-isms. Okay. I'm going to be hearing these across the board.
I'll make a little separate video.
No, please, God
I'm like, I've
almighty.
heard this. I've been motivated by this before. This is wonderful.
Well,
go ahead, please.
I was just going to add that, I was a high school teacher at Marlborough High for 11 years. And, there's something special about those relationships. But when I was coaching dance and when I was leading different clubs, it's like you get to know your kids. I hear you call them your kids. I always called all my students my kids, because there's that special relationship. And it's so important for middle schoolers, for elementary school students too, but middle schoolers and high schoolers to have safe adults that they can lean on and trust and see as an example. And it really does sow deep seeds. I was like never going to come back to Marlborough when I graduated 2002, but and here I am, like I never want to leave, and so there's something really special about those relationships. I don't really remember who my sophomore English teacher was, but I remember my softball coach, and I remember I remember the junior women's club softball coaches when I was an 8th grader, and the impact that they had on my life just by being people that saw something. Oh, you're an athlete, you can do this. It was the first time I played softball, and they poured into me and gave me so much confidence, which every middle schooler, but especially us girls, like need. And so it plants seeds and it makes us want to give back. So I really respect what you're
I think
doing.
with kids, and you have kids of your own, I think sometimes it's hearing it from your parents is a different thing, and hearing it from someone else it's something else, and you lead them down that path and they're getting to where they're going, but sometimes you need that other person out there. Like you said, I had a coach. I have a person called Dennis Dow, D. Dow, who's a gym director of the Boys and Girls Club. He calls me son, I call him dad. And we still talk pretty much 2 or 3 times a week. And this is going back from the 70s. So it's like a 50-year relationship, I was best man at his wedding, you know what I mean? This is the kind of stuff that, the thing is, then, when you foster those relationships and it carries you through, and those are the kind of things you look back on, that make you who you are. I think it's like maybe that, that coach has instilled you, and then you're passing those type of things on to your kids, and then like you're coaching and you're passing on to those kids, I think that's great. I think people can look back in your life and it's not just your family, but there's, there's friends, but then there's also people that, like you said, you move towards, you gravitate towards. Yeah. And, he played a huge role, and he still does. Yeah. So, so having those relationships, even 50 years down the road, it's more than that. Yeah, about 50 years. Well, yeah, good. Yeah, known since I was 7, so I'm 47. God, I'm aging myself here. Sorry about that. So it's almost 50 years, about 50 years. So,
Mary says, don't date yourself, Chuck.
Yeah, I just did. So, but if you couldn't tell by the white hair, yeah. Okay, so, but yeah, I think that's important. I think that if you get those type of relationships, it carries you through life. It's important.
And I think you might not remember those teachers, but you always remember your first job too.
Yeah, it's
right.
True.
And so I think as an experience for kids coming into the workforce, to say that my first job was with Marlborough Recreation Department is so cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's friendships that have stayed. Like I know a good group of kids that they were friends, they were classmates, but really working those summers together kept them close.
Well, you see them at the city events, like I'll be at the Labor Day Parade, or I'll be at Horrible's Parade, or something like that, or the concert series, or something like that. And I have my whole staff approach them, hey, Chuck, how's it going? And it's like, it's great to see them, and we talk a little bit, and, it's like, and then you're always thinking, like, when you're thinking, like, how much of you contributed to, like, what they think and how they are. Right. And, you mold them as best you can. Let's try. You tried. And then if you can do that, that's a huge factor, so.
Well, President Austin is joining us today, and he said that you're the best recreation director ever.
Oh, well, thank you
with
for that, Mike.
4 H's.
Mike is being too kind, but thanks, Mike. Appreciate that. Mike's a great guy. So.
And Spencer Geary, thank you so much for joining us. He's out in Texas right now. He's our most faithful podcast viewer.
Well, there you go.
Thank you for being here,
Awesome.
Spencer.
And I think another thing is it's a family thing too. Like we'd be remiss not to mention that Ernie is in recreation for Watertown, right?
Yes, he is. He went out. He left Marlborough. My brother. If I could be 1/10 of what he has become as far as the town of Watertown, it's just he's a legend. He was there 20 years at the Boys and Girls Club, and he's been at the rec department a little over 10 now. he plays a huge role out there. I mean, you can't walk down the street without 50 people walking up to Brother Ernie in Watertown, and he played a big role in my life too. You look to your older brothers, and what they're doing, and the reason why I played soccer was because of him. You kind of take after your brother a little bit, and he has the same feelings that I had about the Boys and Girls Club, and to come from that kind of background and be able to do what he's doing, what I'm doing, I think it's great. And I think you go down those roads sometimes, you know where life's going to lead you, but I think with Ernie and I, it was just like trying to give back, and I think that played. But it's also my parents, my other siblings, and the Boys and Girls Club in the city has just played a huge role in that. So, and I think Ernie's taken that to a whole nother level. I don't know if Ernie you're watching, but it's true. He's the legend. So he's
some brotherly love there.
Yes.
I mean,
if I could aspire to reach 1/10 of what that man is, that'd be a pretty good step for me. So that's how big it is.
I'm sure that he would say you're right behind him.
Yeah, I don't know about
so, I mean, we have to shout out Chris just because he's one of my buddies. And Chris just thinks the world of both of you, except for when all you're doing is talking about recreation departments.
There we go.
When he's trying to watch a football game.
Yeah.
So coming off of, Mental Health Month, which I think is important because of the tie-in to Recs and recreation, and just what that does for people, right? Is I was just kind of preparing for this and reading some stats, and the benefits of having parks and recreation available to people is so mind-blowing. And it's not just like their property values grow with parks nearby, right? Their well-being, their health costs go down, right?
All the stuff that I was going to talk to you about.
Yeah,
yes, exactly.
Tell me
well,
about
I
your
think
take
like
on
you're
it.
saying, like I think property values of like if you live near a park, it's like 5 to 10% more if you live near a park as far as that. And then obviously you have in a community that's strongly based in parks and recreation. I mean, it's like your facilities. I think any company you guys probably deal with here, the MEDC companies that are coming in, they can see such a strong community-based programming, all these facilities you have, 2 wading pools, 2 splash pads, a beach, a boat launch. What the City of Marlborough is able to offer, I mean, I think there's like over 90 recreational opportunities. That means all the playgrounds, all the walking trails, the playgrounds, the courts, all that stuff. I think that plays a huge role. And you were saying about mental health, I think what we just went through with COVID.
Yeah, sure.
Getting people outside and doing those type of things. And I think like the community-based programming that we do as far as like all the events, just bringing people out and getting them out. I mean, like you were saying, as far as mental health and those kind of things, being out there and, people being boxed in for 2 years. I mean, I had people like clamoring to get onto the fields. And, the City of Marlborough did a very good job when we went through that. I think we were one of the only surrounding towns that had our beaches and pools open, and we were able to pull it off. But we knew how important it was for people to get out there and to have those type of facilities and be able to do that, especially during that time. I know, and we're still coming out of it, but you're right. And I think that also having a strong, park system and trails and athletic complexes, it cuts down on vandalism, cuts down on crime, because people are out, And I think, like you said, as far as being a community-based, like you get all these people together, it gives you a strength of the community saying, hey, listen, we're as one. And as Jill and I were talking about earlier, when she was talking about her home, well, she lives now in Clinton, all the things that they do out there and just have everybody out there. And that's what I think what Marlborough's does. You bring all these people in together and you feel that, what it is. And you were saying earlier about all these generations of people that lived in Marlborough and we're all still here, we're still coming back. That's got to say something, How many people really do that, So, yeah, I think that, when you were saying before about companies and, residents, living by parks, that just helps out with the cost with that. Just, I think it's important.
And those businesses now, as they're expanding or the new ones coming to town, they're actually making sure that they have green spaces, like on their own campuses. That's so cool. They're making sure they have tables for their employees to dine outside in the nice seasons, right? And
they're staying informed about all of the activities so that they can prepare. Okay, we're expecting a lot of people from the parade or from this. And they want to make sure that they're involved in the community and are able to participate and offer more things to our guests and everything.
to hear 90, the number 90.
Yeah, I mean, that's
is-
everything. It's all, recreational facilities that we have, basketball courts, tennis courts, and those type of things. So you break it all down. It's a little over 90.
That is so
it's a
cool.
lot. If you look at the surrounding communities, what Marlborough's able to offer is second to none.
And the programming is not just for children.
No.
We're talking about summer camps and splash pads and wading pools, but there's programming available for
everyone,
all ages.
And we
all
try to
throughout
do
the
that
year.
against all boards. Male, female, young
Yeah.
and old. But I think it's just like even like the little stuff. Just get them out there on the walking trails and coming down to see the facilities. And like we were saying before, as far as what the city has done in the last 10, 15 years, as far as the turf fields and
Right.
doing the beach over, adding the 2 splash pads. It just gives more people an opportunity. When you're saying like ages, it's not just the programming. I think the aspect of it is just bringing people out. Not like
Yeah.
just kids are out in the parks. Nothing warms my heart more than seeing 10, 15 kids out there by themselves playing a game. So they
Right.
don't have to have umpires and coaches. We were kids. That's what we did. And when I see that, that's awesome.
You were the Sandlot.
Yeah, we were the original Sandlot. Yeah, I was. Well, forgive me. I used to be the guy that would jump the fence at Kelleher when we had it locked up. So it's open now. But when we were kids, we would be the ones locking it, and then the Parks Department would come down and be kicking us off. So, but back in those days, you would get like 10 of your friends. You would call up, and we would play like a sport. For like 10 weeks, and someone would say, "Hey, someone brought a football one day," and the next day we were playing football for like 10 weeks, and then playing baseball or soccer, whatever the case may be. But the city always had some great fields, and they take care of it. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say, the DPW does a great job. Chris White and the Forestry Department, the Parks Department do a fantastic job. If you drive through the city, I mean, come on, the fields look fantastic, the greenways look great. Everything looks unbelievable. They do a really good job, and they don't get enough credit. They don't get enough love, I believe. As far as they're out there and they're doing it, And if you take any rides through other communities, I'm not trying to put down any other communities, but if you ride through Marlborough, you ride through some other towns, you'll say, hey, we got it on pretty good. We got a pretty good.
We probably take for granted a bit the condition that our parks have always been in.
I mean, I grew up on Ward Park, Ward Park, and to see how far it's come now, and gosh, the best bathrooms down there for the kids. like we didn't have that growing up. The biggest thing was we'd go to the pool up there, right? Which we have so many awesome splash pads here in Marlborough now. But I mean, it's just come such a long way. I didn't mean to cut you off though.
No. It has come a long way, but I think it's also important to remember that we've had so many amenities. We've been so fortunate to grow up in a community.
That comes with and I think people I'm not saying they expect it, but you have those things. You know what I mean? It's like 100%. I mean, to see what the city has done, in the last, like I said, 15 years, as far as all the other amenities like you were speaking of, it's unbelievable. And I mean, I have a kid have those splash pads and the turf fields for the for high school sports, but not only the youth sports. It's a big factor. People come to Marlborough and say, "Oh, look at these fields. This is great. Look at the pools, the beach. Get a boat launch. We had free kayaks, and you can do all that. It's just." We try to give and give and give back, and I think it's pretty special what we do here.
Yeah, the snowshoes in the winter.
Yeah, we do the snowshoe in the wintertime.
Yeah,
we got about 20 pairs of snowshoe for kids and adults. It went very well this year, so it was great. Well, when snow is on the ground.
Yeah.
So
it's like once you buy those,
I don't know if it was
snowing.
just me, but it's like when you're a kid, you think there was snow on the ground for 4 months, but it just seems now like snow stays and then it's like gone like 3 days later. But in the moments that we had, snow and it stayed for a while, we were jammed. We were sold out. There were just people coming down, and I think it's great. I mean, it's no cost.
Right.
They come down, they rent it for the weekend. If they want to rent it during the week, that was fine too. We had a system they can call up and they sign up online, and it's the kayaks too. If you come down, you're a Marlborough resident. You come down and use the kayaks down at the boat launch. So we have 4 singles and 2 doubles. Come down for 2-hour increments. Show a license you live in Marlborough. Sign a waiver. Go have some fun. Put a life jacket on and go and do it.
So cool.
That's awesome.
We have a comment, Jill?
Yeah, we have a few comments, and thank you guys so much for joining us. I've got a couple comments, and then I've got a couple of questions. Mayor says that we use all the parks and rec departments, everything that you guys offer when trying to attract companies all the time. That's what the employees want. It helps our overall mission.
Without a doubt.
Brent DeBrago just says Chuck is a local hero.
I don't know about that, but okay.
All right, but here we've got 2 questions I'm going to kind of put in back to back. So Anita says, good morning. What specific jobs are available to the youth this summer? And then along with that, do you have to be a resident to sign up for the different programs? So.
No, you don't have to be a resident. It's a some of the programs we may charge an additional fee, be like $5, but it's anything outrageous. Some of the programs we withhold back from Marlborough residents for a few weeks for people to sign up. So we want to give Marlborough residents the chance to sign up prior in case anything sells out. As far as jobs, there's a lot of different jobs. You have as of right now. We're filled, we're with the exception of lifeguards, but yeah, I would say anybody that's looking for work to contact the Recreation Department probably early winter.
Yeah.
I would say December, January. It's the thing is every year I have returning staff, and you know how it is. Some kids will get a different job. Maybe that's something within their field. What are they studying, or they get an internship, and they have all the intentions of coming back. What I usually know, like around January, February, I pretty much got a good idea who's coming back, but it changes.
Yeah.
But as far as different jobs, we have lifeguard jobs, swim instructor jobs. We have parking lot. We do down at the beach. We do boat launch attendants, camps.
Yeah.
So there's a whole variety of different types of jobs. We usually start posting probably November and December.
Yeah.
This year, because the last few years we weren't able to hold lifeguard training courses because of COVID.
Yeah.
So we lost a significant amount of our staff this past year because usually I lose like 4 to 5 lifeguards. I have approximately 15 to 20 in that range.
Yeah.
So we lost a significant amount this year. So we've been plugging away since October. So thankfully, we have like 4 more kids taking the class at the beginning of this month, and then when the kids get out of school, I think there's 2 at the end of June, we'll have 9 new lifeguards this year.
Wow.
And I never had that many come in at once. But like I said to you earlier, having that staff, you want them to stay. You train them,
right.
and also we pay for the training. Other towns you have to go get certified, and it comes out of your own pocket. We don't do that, so we pay for the training. We have a very good relationship with Wayside. We do some training there. Steve Santos over in Hudson has helped us train lifeguards. He's a certified instructor. And one of my former staff members just became a certified instructor this past year, so he'll be coming back and helping us out.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. Liam Mayfield, great kid.
That's so great.
Yeah, so,
what a nice way to give back.
Well, now he works over at Sudbury Recreation.
Okay.
Actually, he works with Dennis Manoni.
Okay.
I've known Dennis for years. He's a Marlborough guy, too. And I sent him over there, and I'm like, oh, God, I wish I had a full-time position because they have an indoor pool over there.
Yeah. Well, you've partnered with them.
Yes, we partnered with many programs. They do
Yeah.
other programs. We do indoor swimming lessons during the winter,
Yeah.
diving classes and those type of things. They do some dances over there. We collaborate with them. We do bingo nights with them and with the kids and stuff. So collaboration with what Hudson and Sudbury is, we've always done that. So we've always I think with the recreation departments we look over each other, and it's like the same thing over in Westboro. They needed lifeguards one time. I helped them out with the lifeguards. Same thing with Steve. He needed a few lifeguards for a weekend. They were short. I sent them over a couple from our staff. You help each other out. So it's a good collaboration in that, and it works out well because they're in the same situation as you are.
Right.
Not everything's perfect, so it's
Right.
nice to lean on some people when you need that. So it's good.
Very cool. Do we have any other comments right now?
Just some people loving the show.
Okay.
Love hearing more about what
everybody
Marlborough
for
offers.
tuning
Yeah.
in. So we're talking, the other thing we mention it probably just about every episode, but also that the meals tax in Marlborough, right, is going to, we feed the fields with our meals tax, which is unique. And we're starting to see other communities that are like close by that are just starting to add this tax
I think it's like, well, you want to have a revenue stream. It's not like it depends on what the city is building. I think we went off of the game plan, the MEDC, as far as the tax on the hotel rooms. Mm-hmm. So when this was broached as a subject that was coming up, and sometimes getting things through city council or the political system is timing.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's what it's all about. And we were at a time when Trish Pope, was down the senior center. She's a city council at that point, and Bobby Kays, who's our commission president, asked me to be part of the group to bring the meals tax through. So we collected the youth groups and some businesses, local businesses, and brought them together. We had discussions over like a 6-month period. We were able to bring in our game plan, what we wanted to do, and luckily for us and the city, not to say us meaning me, but luckily for the city that we were able to push this through. And the important factor is that this meals tax is not only just what we just built as far as these turf fields, it's also maintaining them when their life goes out. So basically you have an average life of 8 to 10 years for a turf field. So when you replace that turf field, you're looking at $1 million.
Yeah.
So, you need to have a revenue stream in place. And I think that you'll see in other towns, they build these turf fields and they don't realize down the road, whoa, wait a minute. I got to replace this in 8 to 10 years. It's going to cost this much money to do that. It's nice to have that revenue stream in place, but it's an opt-in, opt-out tax. If you don't, have dinner in Marlborough, you don't have to pay the tax. But if we weren't passing on the residential tax, and I think that's where people got behind it.
Yeah.
And all the other people that come in and work here in town, that tax comes. You buy a cup of coffee right here.
Yeah.
It might be a few cents, but we're talking anywhere between $800 to $1.2 million a year. So taking on those monies allows us to, down the road, be able to say, hey, listen, we can fix this. Or we can beautify certain other areas where we see fit. So the city was forward thinking in that. I think that you got to look down the road. And so for the one, I'd say not the one time, but it's nice to be proactive rather than reactive and wait for things to break down. I think what we had the foresight to say, if we're able to pull this off and build these turf fields, we need something to be able to make sure that when it comes to the time when we need to replace this, we have something in place. Because you don't know what's going to happen then. You don't know where the economy is going to be or where the other money's made me go. Maybe you got to build that fire station or you got to the library and those type of things. So you don't know where you stand. So now if you have this in place, it takes a lot of the burden off. I mean, it takes it completely off. So that's great. So I think anybody was a taxpayer in town. So come on. You got all these workers that are coming in and their tax dollars, well, not their tax dollars, but the tax that's going on the mills tax is going into that. And I think like what you were saying before, I think if all the communities, if you look at all the projects, and if newspaper, wherever you get your information from, towns and cities are going to say, listen, we want to put the money towards recreation. That's the way, you know what I mean? I'm not saying the library, and I'm saying it's not important for a fire station, new school like that, but I think people get behind those type of projects, and I think they're easier to pass because I think it's because it's community based, and that just brings us back to what we were saying earlier.
Getting your neighbors together on the field.
Yes, and that's what it started from. I think it was the youth groups coming to us, and not only them, but the residents to say, how can we get this? And not only having the turf fields, I mean, they're great and everything, but I think it's making the season longer, putting the lights up, extending the day and extending the season, which makes more work for me, but hey. But, I think it's great. You can get someone in the field like late February, and you can go all the way to December. Before you wouldn't get on the field until like maybe late April, and you're getting off like the first week of November. So you're extending that life. And then the thing is, more recreational opportunities for the youth groups. And I think I think if you have talked to the youth group directors, they're going to say, hey, the jewel of the city is these turf fields. The kids get to play on. I mean, I wish I played on the turf field. I remember the turf field I played on was Boston College. It was just like a carpet like in here. You just fall down and you lose half your leg. But the way that the new systems are for turf fields, I think it's just a great addition to the city. So
absolutely.
I was so happy we were able to pass that. And like I said earlier, the timing was there. And a lot of people played a role in that. I played a small role, but I'm just glad I was part of it.
Before I joined any type of local sport, so I grew up on Orchard Street, but I was really cool, and I liked to rollerblade all over town as a preteen and like be in places I shouldn't be and jumping off stairs and everything. And I remember my dad saying, what can I do to get you to stop sneaking out of the house and rollerblading all over town? And I was a Roller Kingdom kid too, so I'm like, all you ever.
Who wasn't a Roller Kingdom kid? Come on.
That's what I'm saying. Right. Beatbox, come on, it's Lindsay's jam. But I was like, we don't play any sports. All I ever did was roller skating. So put me in a sport, and maybe I'll stop rollerblading all over town.
Yep.
Sure enough, he brought me right over. It was registration for softball, and honestly, joining Marlborough's town softball league changed my life because I suddenly felt like confident in doing something good. And I always said when I started teaching at the middle school first before the high school, if these kids need to be busy,
sure,
or they're going to be bored, and boredom leads to decisions and other opportunities that are not great opportunities. So keeping our kids, and I mean, even me, I told you when you walked in here, I was just on the phone with Clinton's Park and Rec to make sure all my kids have some place to be this summer because, we need that as parents. We need our kids to be in safe places, have lots of different opportunities. And I have 4 kids. Each one of them has different interests. And the fact that I can find a place for each of my kids to thrive and feel confident and be equipped with leadership skills and just be active is just so huge. So cities and towns, it's so important to invest in this for our next generation, because if you have nothing to do, you just get in trouble.
Well, I think it's like with kids, there's so many other, things that can occupy their time. Obviously, when we were growing up, it's a little bit different. I think my mom would say, "Get out of the house, don't come back until the streetlights come back on." So we were out doing things, and I think that I think having the parks and and the different activities like you're saying. I think a lot of times, way I feel about kids now, sometimes they lose that ability to think on their own sometimes, and and bringing together as far as a part of a team and those type of things, and what a team instills in you, responsibility. I remember there was a time when I was growing up, and I didn't like my coach or something, and my dad said, "You made a commitment to that team. You're going to every practice, you're going to every game."
Yeah.
That's how it was. And I think that playing sports, it teaches those type of things. It's not only just you're getting out of your shell, you're being able to interact. And I think like over the past few years, and I think you probably talked to plenty of teachers, I think at the 2 years of having not COVID, kids' social interactions,
100%.
that's a huge part.
Yeah.
And Lindsay was saying earlier, as far as a mental aspect of parks and recreation in sports and those type of things, that plays a major role.
Yeah.
Kids need to be together. They need to be talking. They need to be working out things.
It happens.
Yes.
I mean, because you can try to teach these skills and teach the importance of collaboration and working together and problem solving. We try to do this at home with our kids. Yeah. It's just
it's not going to work. But but I was saying to you earlier,
and with kids that they don't know, and it's awkward at first, but then they find their place, and it's. I mean, I am so.
I think anything
grateful.
with sports is when you're working with the team or you're doing those things. It's also working out like when you have disagreements. So like when I was saying when I was a kid, when we played together, like hey, we didn't have enough players. At half the field was a foul ball, and if there was a close play at second, you go do over or whatever those things are. You weren't like ready to get in a fist fight over something.
Yeah.
You worked out your disagreements, and I think that's part of it too.
Yeah.
It's not just kids just coming together and those type of things, learning those type of things, like you said.
Yeah.
I don't think a coach is like, I don't think he sits there and say, I'm going to teach these kids, and I'm going to hope they get it, like you said, and then they'll have that moment like, oh wait a minute, the coach was telling me this and that. But I don't think the coach is like trying to say, teach them this is what it is. And like you were saying about being a parent, they're not listening to you. Maybe they'll listen to their coach a little bit, and I think they'll get those type of things. And I think that's one important part of it.
Yeah.
Modeling
that problem solving, modeling.
Yes.
Okay, we don't have this, but we can do this instead. Literally, I don't know why that's so hard to teach young people. But if you try to say this is what we do, like they need opportunities where things don't go their way, where they haven't been there before, they haven't tried that activity before, they think they're not good at it, and then they see, oh, this is cool, or this is what I can learn from that, and it gets them out from behind the screens as well, which is huge.
It's like we were saying, earlier, like those 2 years of COVID. I think any teacher would say is seeing the kids come back as just the social interaction, how that's changed.
Right.
And I think of all those kids that are disappointed they didn't have an opportunity, like their senior proms, or I had a nephew his senior year for soccer, and he played 3 games.
Yeah.
So imagine going through all life and then seeing this disappointment. But I also think that when they get through that, you have disappointment, those type of things, but bringing people together, the classroom or outside that, and not having that for a couple of years just alludes to what Lindsay was saying earlier, just the mental aspect just for kids. I think it's important.
So you must have really high enrollment for summer programs this summer, yeah?
Yeah. The funny thing is our programs that are running like shorter hours are doing better. I don't know if more parents are staying home, and they're not doing the full day.
There's more hybrid work available.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're trying to get.
Yeah,
we're trying to get back to that a little bit, and it's thing fluctuates. Sometimes it's like certain activities. It's high for a few years, and it dips, and then it may come back. Example is like a ski club. I think when 15, 20 years ago, I had 2 bus loads, and then it's one bus, and then it's half a bus, and then it's only like 15 kids going to the, and then things happen. But you were saying before about skateboarding, and then trying to stay on top of the times. Like we built our first skate park, that we had the ramp down at Ward Park, and then we had the small little one over at Ghiloni, and now we had the one made as part of Ward. Yeah. So when you're designing those things, like even up at Stevens Park, we're putting in a futsal court, because I've been noticing that a lot of the population, the Brazilian population, coming down playing soccer on basketball courts, but it's called a futsal court. It's basically the same thing. Box them all in. We're going to have them up at Stevens Park. So what they do is they go down to Ward Park and they take down the tennis net and they play in the game in there. So
Yeah.
I recognize, I say, listen, they were asking me what kind of should we do by the splash pad up there? What kind of court should we have?
Yeah.
I suggested a futsal court. So it hasn't been completed yet, but that we're in the process. But
Gente, incrível!
Yeah.
Meu Deus, that's awesome.
so futsal will be happening there. So I mean, but the thing
Yeah.
is, it's not only just as a recreation department recognizing those things like
Right.
pickleball with the older population is big down there. If you ever go down to Ward Park, it's jammed, Monday through Saturday. They're there all morning. To bring out that age group and have an activity they're enjoying. And that was just at the cusp, say, like 4 or 5 years ago. So you try to stay ahead of the curve on some things, and you try to like promote different activities, because not everybody's going to be that sports person.
Right.
I mean, it's going to be like the recreation is just not just sports.
Gaming club. You've done
We do
like,
gaming, we do
robotics,
gaming, we do art classes, so we do dance classes.
So awesome. I saw a bunch of dance classes on there. It's so important.
Well, like we were saying, it's not all activities are geared towards. I think some people have the perception like recreation is just sports. It's not.
Right.
It's a different type of activities, and you try to promote across all spectrums, across all age groups, and you're saying how important it is for not just the fields, but the walking trails, just getting people out to walk. I think the city's done an unbelievable job as far as that. I don't think a lot of people know of all the conservation trails and walking trails we have.
Yeah.
So.
I know. I love when you see an aerial shot of Marlborough actually, and it's so green, and you forget, right? Because we're always talking about the city of Marlborough and Route 20, Route 85, the Apex Hospitality Zone, right? All these pieces. But when you actually are looking at Marlborough, it's full of green space, which is so neat. Yeah. I think we're bumping up against time. I do want to mention, like, as we're saying that everything is not just sports, the rec department is also the organizer and the host of the summer concert series. So that schedule went out yesterday. Chuck, myself, and DPW, Parks, First Church in Marlborough, we've been working together to get some seating, some dining tables, some lights down at Union Common. So
very excited
we're hoping,
about
that. that project will help bring people down on Thursday nights, and then all nights of the week, right? If the park is lit up, there's places to eat, to put your trash, enjoy the downtown area, get takeout. I think we counted like 21 restaurants within walking distance. So thanks again, 495 Partnership, Jason Palish, for helping with that grant.
Well, that was great for you guys to bring that up, and I think it's like aesthetically looking down at that area. I mean, I think it's going to look unbelievable. So I'm excited.
The breweries are going to be there this year, which is so cool, right? We talk about the breweries, that they're family friendly. Now they're coming to the concerts. It's again those all ages. You can bring young children. They can run around in the park during the show. People can go listen to the music, bring their picnic setups, bring their takeout, get a beer, right? Yeah. There's all different types of music. You guys put together a great set list throughout the summer. We've got a show at Memorial Beach this year.
Yes, our first summer concert's going to be
kicking off
at Memorial Beach. I believe it's June 9th, and that day we also have the senior barbecue in the early afternoon. From 12 to 2, and then later on that night, Late Bus will be playing. The first summer concert will be at the beach this year.
Which is a bunch of Marlborough teachers.
Yes,
the name Late Bus. They stay after school to practice. Pretty cool little insider info there. We can't let you out of here this easy though. So we've got a couple things that we want to do with you.
Oh Jesus! Oh, can I say that?
So you're a Marlborough grad, right?
I would
Marlborough
say so.
resident, born and raised.
So getting a headshot from Chuck, who does not like attention, was pretty
tricky.
Humorous, right? Because it's like we have a relationship here, and so we thought it would be really funny to like send over some possible headshot pictures.
Right. So here we have some options for you.
Okay, all right. Thanks a lot. Yeah, so people are going to say, like, that bottom picture right there, the bottom right-hand corner. I think it was like 14. And you're going to figure, how did I get a helmet on with that big afro right there?
So
that was
for those of you that
are
only listening, this is a picture of Chuck at around 15 years old. And he has got some long,
beautiful
tight curls going on.
Yeah, I used to be able to pull my hair from the front of my head and from the side and tie it. That's how bad it was. Well, I'd say bad. I think the older women love my hair. They're like, oh my God, I got to go to the hairdresser to get hair like that. And they always wanted to, oh my God, it's so soft. I'm like, yeah, what do you think it was going to be? So they're probably thinking, like, look at that guy. He's probably like a cute kid. What happened?
Oh, come
Very
on.
cute.
Give me a break.
So
Come on.
yeah, so then we go back to some Marlborough roots, some Pop Warner, Marlborough youth football up there, right? Some Panther
Did
pride.
you stick with that number 32? Was that
Yeah. Oh, okay. I played soccer actually later on. I think I got the age, we were saying before about sports and trying different things. I think at the age of 12, I was like emulating my brother Ernie. I was like, and Chris, they were big soccer players. So I played soccer, and then I got to the age of 12. I said to my dad, I want to play baseball. I want to play, football. I want to do all the youth sports. And I did. And I think I was probably 11 or 12 at that point. So, yeah, they had to get a special helmet to fit all that hair in there. So,
Meredith loves it. And the rec department is watching right now. So your staffers.
Oh yeah, I'm sure
are
that
joining the
Joe.
conversation.
I'm sure Joe Mulvey is back at the office, laughing right now and going, "I can't wait to see him and make fun of him." So,
All I have to
is
say
this your
like,
senior picture here too?
Yeah, that's from the
yeah,
yearbook.
my senior picture. Yeah.
I'm always trying to get a picture of Chuck in action because, it's awesome. And I love Chuck. And he's always like, no, don't take my picture.
Well, the reason why I say it is my dad worked for Polaroid, so I was always getting pictures taken when I was a kid.
Okay.
So no, I just how I am. I'm just
how well it's done for you. I mean,
I was I can't believe you pulled that off. God, my wife's gonna see this. She's gonna be like, God, I can't wait for other people like, hey, I saw that video, Chuck. Hey, great photo.
I'm like giggling behind my cell phone. Oh, send more. This is funny.
Well, I was just doing it. Like, why don't you use this one? So I was trying to get into it, and I'm like, oh God, I didn't think I was gonna be up there, but thank you very much for
You're
that.
welcome.
That is live
I
video
can't wait
podcast
for
gold.
all the ribbing that's gonna happen from this.
And just one more time, in case anyone missed it, this is what we're talking about.
Yeah. Thanks.
All right.
Yeah,
so,
thanks for
so now we're going to put you on the spot in a different kind of way.
Okay.
We're going to play a very short version of what we like to call Where Do You Go in Marlborough?
Okay.
But for this one, what we're going to do is we're going to give you a scenario of, like, let's just say I'm coming to Marlborough and I'm saying, hey, here's a scenario. Where should I go?
Okay.
So for our first one, we're going to say it's a hot summer day and I want to take my kids somewhere.
Well, obviously the splash pads or the pools or the beach. That's definitely, without a doubt. If they like the kayak, take them down to the Hickson boat launch and launch from there. But definitely the pools and the splash pad. I mean, without a doubt.
The kayaks. That's a cool one I didn't think about.
Yeah.
So is it kayaks and life jackets, or do you need
No,
to
we
supply
provide the life jackets.
Oh, that's
Everything's there.
awesome.
So,
Amazing.
like I said, it's just 2 hour increments. We ask people if they come down, check out the schedule. You'll see it online. Hickson Boat Launch. We're there just the weekends until the third week of June. But we're there from 10 to 8 on the weekend, so on Saturday and Sunday. But we asked the last people to go out at like 5, so they're back by 7 because we close at 8.
Yeah.
But coming out on the time and just
Is there an age limit
So
or a
cool.
height?
Well, we ask
Yeah.
say 12. You got to
Okay.
be at least age 12, and you
Okay.
have to be with a parent. So a
Yeah.
kid can't just show up and drop off your kid and go, "Hey, take a kayak now."
Bye.
They leave their license. They got to fill out a waiver and then put them on the water and say, "Have some fun."
That's
So
awesome.
cool.
All right, we got 3 more.
Okay.
I'm recently retired and looking for something to do.
I think I don't know if that'd be a question for the senior center, but I think like the pickleball group that I was saying before
Yeah.
is, we had the Ward Park pickleball group. I think that'd be a great, depending on how active they are, partaking in any of the walking trails. I think it's like you were saying before, I think was on one of the notes you guys were saying, like hidden gems, think of
Yeah.
like the walking trail
Yeah.
up by Jericho to walk up the hill, with the strength is, but then the desert down by where I am down on Concord Road. But I think for the elderly, as far as that, I would say like getting together. I think the pickleball group would be a huge asset to anybody looking for activity.
My
And
husband
getting
loves the desert. He goes
Yeah.
mountain biking down there. He takes the dogs down there. And
It's a great spot.
Yeah, and that is a hidden gem for sure.
All right, 2 more.
Okay.
My friends and I want to start a fitness walking club. This is not true, but if we were to want to start a fitness walking
Yeah,
club,
they can approach.
where should we go?
Well, they can come to the Recreation Department. I mean,
Yeah.
it's depending on what their objective is. And now, if you're just putting a group together, it's not going to be an issue. They could just go do it themselves.
Yeah.
But if they wanted to do signups and that kind of stuff, we could help them out.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we've done that.
And
yeah.
the map, there's a map that tells you how.
Yep,
far
we got all the
and
conservation
measures
trails. It's
the-
right here.
Yeah.
If you go on our website, it's actually right here. Here you go. I brought it with me, but
Nice.
not that if you click on any of the links, it shows you all the where the park start. I mean, as far as the walking trail start. So we have the directions, and you can go right from there.
Yeah, and we've shown the website a few times. We'll make sure it's linked in the description.
I mean, I think if you want to stay on top
Awesome.
of things, you want to go to our Facebook page because we're always posting there.
Yeah.
too,
Yep.
So.
And then finally, the schools just called a snow day, and my kids want to go sledding.
Yeah, Jericho. We did it this past year. What we had is it was a weekend. And when was the weekend? It was a weekday. I don't know. We had a snowstorm. We went out there.
Yeah.
So Joe, I can't remember. That's like the dates. Was it that day? I don't know.
It's all a blur.
So what we did is we planned it out that week. So obviously, having forecast. So what we did is Joe and we contacted a group. There was a college in Worcester,
Yeah.
and they came out and did hot chocolate. So what we did is we got that morning. Joe went out and we cleared the walkway, and then we brought down speakers. So we were playing music from the deck, and then we served hot chocolate.
That's so
I thought that was pretty cool.
cool.
What we used to do, and we were saying earlier, we used to do a sled day, but when you try to plan it out, sometimes God doesn't let that happen. So we said, hey, listen, we know it's going to be a pretty big snowstorm. Why don't we do that? The only problem with that is like so many cars down there. I was like, it was a great day. We were there from 10 to 4. So we were there for 6 hours playing music, hot chocolate. It was a great time.
Yeah. Awesome.
Love it. So, I mean, there are so many more things we could talk about, but unfortunately time is not going to allow us. I do think your Facebook page is an awesome way for people to get information. It just almost went viral with that movie in the park post,
Yeah, we got that this Friday, so hopefully the weather will cooperate.
So this Friday at Ward Park, what and
No, this Friday at Keller. It's at Keller.
Oh, at Keller. I'm sorry.
At Canto.
Thank
We're
you.
playing the movie
in
at Canto.
Yeah. So families can come down,
Yes.
right?
All the stuff's on the information. We'll probably update it in case there's like rain overnight. The forecast is rain overnight into Friday. So we're going to suggest to people, hey, don't bring a blanket, bring a chair because the ground may still be wet. The Lions Club comes out and helps out. They serve food. We have free popcorn and free ice cream.
So cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
Such a great opportunity, too, for families that might be new to the area to be able to go and meet other people that have children the same ages. It's a really good way to bring the
I have
community
some
together.
parents that come
That's
up and
so
just
cool.
thank our staff and just say, hey, thanks for coming out. This is great. I met these other families, and it's so nice to get everybody here. And like you said, you meet some people that you don't know, and he brings people together. Like we were just saying earlier, that's what it's all about. Recreation is just bringing people together, and how important it is. It plays a huge role.
That's awesome. So I'm going to end with a final Chuckism, and it's my thank you to you. But honestly, at any time in life, business, personal, I ask Chuck, hey, can I bounce something off you? Hey, I've got an idea. And you always say, whatever you need, if there's anything I can do, I'll try to do it. And I'm sure so many people in this community can attest to that. So thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you for that. Thank you for those kind words.
Thank you for having that mentality for all of us all the time.
I appreciate that.
Going back 50 years to D-Dow.
To D-Dow. That's where it all started. Yes, the Boys and Girls Club, without a doubt.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us. We will be taking July off, and then in August, Meredith will be back in the seat with you. We miss her. We can't wait to see her back. So we'll see you in August. Enjoy the
Thanks
summer.
for having me.
The great programming. Thanks, everybody.